Hi, beautiful people. I just wanted to go through very quickly a few things before you get started this week. To backpedal a little bit, there are some of you that are still missing work in the folders that are up here. Blue and green folders need to be really, really finished. So make sure you go through and you have grades for all of these assignments. The last two that I graded, well, this was actually early on, but there's still, again, there's some of you, if you have a 0 in your grade book, I would have noted why. And you need to go back and resubmit that. Okay. So basically, in the purple folder from yesterday, I'm sorry, from last week, you needed to resubmit your text that you read, you annotated, you took paragraph notes on. I did want to show you what you were graded as a test for was this poster. And you should have had, let me just pick a few that are 4s. You should have had posters that looked like this. I'm going to show you Alyssa's first in full screen. Basically, she's got at least 2 or 3 pictures in each one, and she's got the main things that happened, right? So here's where we are. We went from like absolute power with a king, which is King Louis in France. He built this giant palace of Versailles, which the movie we're about to watch takes place in. It's an amazing place that is still there today. He believed he was governing for God. And then what happens is the British have a revolution and they basically abolish an absolute monarch. They do keep a monarchy, but they basically create parliament. So anyway, this was a sample of what your poster needed to look like. I was going to show you a few more. There's a few good ones. But for now, what I wanted to do is go back and show you what you are going to be doing this week. By the way, there are some of you in your grades that I get pages that look like this sometimes when I click your stuff, because it means that you have not shared your folder with me. So basically, you need to make sure that in your world history folder, watch what I'm doing right now in Drive, because you all should just double check right now. Sorry, that was not world history. This is my world history folder. And if I right click 2 fingers, I click it, and I go to share. Please pause this video right now and make sure that you have shared your whole folder and that all your history stuff is in this folder. So down at the bottom, if you click this little gear sign, I share my folders with a lot of other teachers, but you need to make sure you go down here. I think yours will say anyone with Grossmont Union High School District can view it. You need to change that. So go to the little black box and change it to anyone with the link can view. Okay, and then that's done. But you want to make sure that everything that you do for my class is in that folder, because then everything will be shared with me automatically. Okay, so there's a few of you, you have to go back and do that. And some of you, it'll come up again. As long as you keep your Drive organized, you may want to do that right now too as you pause. So go back and do that. And again, go back and check all your grades. So what you are about to do right now is you're going to go to the yellow folder, which is not here yet. Actually, I'll make it a different color because the yellow folder is kind of my important generic stuff. Let's see. Here's what you're doing. So here's what you need to look at carefully. We're going to watch this video, and yes, it has to be your own words, and I can check that very easily in a lot of different ways, but you need to understand this map. So look at this map carefully right now. Pause the video and read everything around it. So England has already had a revolution. They've already gotten rid of the king. Okay, so they're in a democracy. They're the first democracy in the modern time. And you know that their Union Jack flag, comes to be there. And right now, this is where Louis XIV, his granddaddy, built the Palace of Versailles that you just saw. Louis XIV comes to power. He does not want to be king. So you'll see that in the video. His wife, the young Marie Antoinette, comes from here in Austria. So remember, the US had their revolution right after Britain did. And they were like, oh, we'll just get rid of the king altogether. So it was easy because America's way over here. The King of England was here. So, it was easier to get rid of the king than France. France is like, okay, we want to get rid of the king too, just like England did, just like the US did. but it's harder for them because Louis controls the whole country. Okay, so as you watch this documentary, here's what I want you to do. What I've already done for you is outline the major events that happen. So you need to keep this open. So what you want to do is you will want to be watching this video. I'm going to use my scissors. This is the video you're going to watch. And you'll want to use the scissors to put the video over here and where's my document? Over here. Okay, so what you will want to do is you're going to watch the video like this. And basically, you're going to follow this line right over here and make sure that you are, writing your own notes around what happens. So for example, King Louis inherits the French throne. That's going to take like the first 15 minutes of the video. So you would be writing all the little details you can. So for example, in my words, I would be looking at, okay, he doesn't want to be king. Doesn't want to be king. I'll go ahead and bullet all these for you. France is in debt. Every little thing that you read about, and they're all going to be different because there is so much information in this documentary. So there's no reason your notes will look like anybody else's notes. I hope you understand that, right? I will give zeros and, I take that, academic honesty very carefully. It's going to be very easy for me to tell if you're watching the video because you'll be looking at different things than everybody else will. You might note that, Marie Antoinette, you might abbreviate, is really into her hair, her looks and her hair. She's very vain, right? So anyway, your notes are going to be all about that part. And now you want to kind of pay attention because now they're going to start talking a little later about France's financial crisis. So you want to look, okay, what is going on when you get down to there, right? You want to keep your notes lined up with this. Keep your notes here. So again, this is maybe the first 15 minutes of the video. This is another 10 minutes. And as you're watching the video, you just want to make sure that you're adding on your own information about everything. Okay. So go through and make sure that you are doing that. It should take, it's a long film. It's about an hour and a half. But because you're going to be pausing it a lot, I'm going to expect this to be like 2 days, but you need to pause it and really write as much as you can down. I would expect you to probably, as you write, you're going to take up, maybe, I don't know, you might have like 10 sentences. I was going to give you an example, but you might have 10, oopsie, I just deleted my whole chart. I hope you know how to undo, right? Command Z. Anyway, just make sure you go through, read everything as much as you can. Stop and get as many details as you can all the way through and put your own notes in. Now, as you go through, you also need to come up with your own questions over here about, anything that you wonder about. I'll put some more prompts up here that'll make you think about, okay, how is this connected to the English Revolution? How is it connected to the US Revolution? Anything you know about that? But just questions that you have that are making you curious, right? That's going to be another way for me to prove that, okay, you watched this part. You want to know up here, like, why didn't Marie Antoinette stand up to her aunt when she dropped her off at the palace and she realized she didn't want to be there? Okay, so anyway, that's just an example, for example, what you could do. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking, and you are going to start this film and take as many, many, many notes as you can. Again, I can tell by looking at how much you write based on looking and estimate basically how long it took you to do this. So I expect it to take, again, about, if it's an hour and a half movie, you're going to take about 2.5 hours, 2 days. I would expect this to be completed by 2 days from now. Okay? We'll discuss it on our next Zoom session. So hopefully you will have gotten a good start on it. Enjoy the film, get into it as much as you can, pause it. There's going to be a lot of new words. Maybe you'll have vocabulary over here, like what is this or that. But again, I would expect it teaches you a lot of new terms. and you'll need to know those. So make sure you're writing down any new information that you're learning here as well. Okay, so email me any questions you have. Good luck, you guys.